Prepare to journey to the Darklands, a place shrouded in darkness and despair. A region where towering factories spew out smoke and ash, where forges burn with hellish flames, and massive armories house weapons of unimaginable power. This is the heartless and nightmarish industrial empire of the Chaos Dwarfs, a race separated from their kin of the West and devoted to the Dark Master, Hashut, the god of fire, greed, and tyranny. But beware, for chaos has worked subtle changes on their bodies, making them more fearsome than ever before. Will you dare to enter this realm of darkness and face the fury of the Chaos Dwarfs? Many thousands of years ago, the dwarf race moved northwards from their ancestral home in the Southlands. They followed the high ridge peaks known as the World's Edge Mountains, seeking the secrets of rock and metal. They dug deep into the earth, creating shafts and underground cities, and even constructing tunnels that carried them further north. Eventually, they reached the upland region at the far north of the World's Edge Mountains, which they called Zorna School, or the Great Skull Land. Here, they found a vast and inhospitable plateau, where the air was thin and cold, and the rocks barren. While some turned back south, joining the growing numbers of dwarfs in the World's Edge Mountains, others turned west into the cold lands of Norska. But some of the most adventurous turned east and then south, trekking along the bleak mountains of Morn. At first, the widespread dwarf kindred maintained contact with each other, but the eastern dwarfs strayed far. They were eventually cut off forever when the Great Cataclysm brought chaos into the known world. The dwarfs of the west believed their eastern kin dead, destroyed by the tides of chaos that came from the north. But they were mistaken. Chaos could not kill the hardy dwarfs, but instead it worked a dreadful change upon them. To survive the eruption of the realm of chaos into the mortal world during the Great Cataclysm, the Chaos Dwarfs turned to the evil bull god, Hashut, god of fire, greed, and tyranny, whom they called the Father of Darkness. Hashut laid his blessings upon them, and for the first time, magic users arose among the dwarf race. The sorcerers now ruled with absolute authority, for they were not only powerful mages, but also the chosen priesthood of Hashut. They were strange and tortured beings, greatly skilled at blending magic into their ingenious engineering, but cursed. For each Chaos Dwarf sorcerer will inevitably, one day, slowly transform into an immobile stone statue. The chain starts with their appendages, which turn gray and useless, before progressing throughout the rest of their body. Many of them use their sorceress engineering to construct new steam-driven bodies, but this only buys them a short period of grace, before they too eventually succumb to the curse. Their immobile forms now stand guard, leading up to the road to the center of their mighty empire, the Tower of Zar Nagrund, city of fire and desolation. The tower is a terrible obsidian ziggurat that constantly hums with the ringing of hammers and the screams of victims, sacrificed in molten cauldrons to Hashut's greater glory. This is the labor of generations of slaves, surrounded by the mountainous piles of displaced rock that hail from the mines which gouged the landscape surrounding the tower, and slag from the countless forges of the Chaos Dwarfs. At the apex of the tower sits a vast temple dedicated to Hashut, watched over by the fierce bull centaurs. Bull centaurs long ago mutated from the Chaos Dwarfs, doubtless after Hashut had an influence on their race. They have the lower bodies of bulls and the upper bodies of heavily muscled yet fanged Chaos Dwarfs. They are fearless and terrible, reveling only in the spilling of blood and glorifying the Father of Darkness. Deep in the Darklands, the Chaos Dwarfs ruled with an iron fist, their vast empire sustained by the endless labor of their green-skinned slaves. But even their mastery over the twisted world they had created could not quell the constant animosity and infighting among their enslaved population. Seeking a solution to these problems, the dwarfs turned to dark magic and selected the largest and strongest of their green-skinned slaves to breed the first Black Orc. Their experiment, however, had unexpected consequences. The Black Orcs were not the obedient slaves the dwarfs had hoped for, but instead became the perfect leaders for their brethren to rise up and overthrow their sadistic rule. The orcs' fierce sense of independence could not be erased by the magic of the dwarf sorcerers, and soon a great rebellion spread throughout the Darklands. The Chaos Dwarfs' empire was on the brink of total destruction. The Greenskins marched towards the doors of the Temple of Hashut, the very heart of their empire. But just as victory seemed within their grasp, the hobgoblins, who had long been the dwarfs' loyal allies, betrayed the rebellion and turned the tide of the war. The rebellion was ultimately thwarted, but not before the Black Orcs had proven themselves to be formidable warriors and leaders, a force to be reckoned with in their own right. From that day forward, the Chaos Dwarfs knew they could never fully trust their slave population again. Realizing the danger of creating such powerful slaves, the Chaos Dwarfs abandoned their breeding program and focused on new methods of control. And so, the Darklands remained a place of constant turmoil and strife, ruled by a merciless empire that would stop at nothing to maintain its power. Beware the Darklands, home of the Chaos Dwarfs and their infernal machines. Enter at your own risk.